you were good to go.
Yanis, this is such an incredible film for you. Was there something about Pancho or El Halcón that really made you want to be a part of the movie?
I think there are different things that made me want to be part of the movie. First of all, is the story. You know, I was very close of luchadores when I was a kid. I played a lot. I admired them a lot. They were like superheroes for me. I played with my brother, my cousins, and everything like that. And they were like I grew up watching superheroes on TV, like luchadores. You know, for me they were heroes, and making that story for me was being a kid again, you know, play again as a kid, you know, being there again, uh, believing to be the El Halcón. And that was the first thing that made me want to make this film. The second one was the director, Lalo Valenzuela. It's a guy who has worked with Vice and a lot of different platforms and magazines. And he knows very well, he understands the underground of Mexico, you know, like this red district, this music, these very dark places. And working with Lalo was like a pleasure for me. We made like a creative couple, a creative partnership, because he's a director who's very open to suggestions. You can say to him, "Hey, Eduardo, what do you think about this or about that?" And he says yes to this, no to that. So that was the second part. And the third part for me, that was maybe the most important point, was the relationship between Pancho and his father, El Halcón. Because beyond all these luchadores and all this paraphernalia was the main story of a son and his father. And for me, that was the core of the story of El Halcón. For me, that was the most important thing to show to the audience. Because as a man, there's not so many movies where you can talk about that, you know, the relationship about your father and this character. So there were the three important points for me to make the film.
There's such a wonderful family bond between Halcón and Pancho as well. Talk about working with Guillermo to sort of flesh out the family connection the two of you really share as father and son.
Guillermo, it's a very experienced actor. He's super talented. For me, I admire him as an actor very much. And when I was watching the movie, you know, later when the premiere in Morelia, I realized that we even look similar to each other. You know, like I was watching Guillermo and I was thinking, yeah, maybe I can be like that when I will be old. You know, like that could be me. You know, and I had this bond with him because we're both like we have more or less the same energy, you know, like he's very generous, he's very calm, he's very funny. I don't know, he's a very humble guy. He works a lot. Um, I had like a true bond, like a true son and father relationship with him because he gave me a lot of advices during the shooting. It was really enjoyable to work with him. And I think that at the end, we work a lot on trying to make this relationship believable for the audience, you know, to try to give them all this heart, all this love between a son and his father. And I think at the end, I think we succeed because when the audience see the movie, they say, yeah, yeah, I really believe that he was your father and you were his son. And I really saw the love that you had for each other.
Yes, you have to believe that he's willing to come back as this superhero luchador to save his son after, being retired and no longer wanting to be a part of that physical and mental life that luchadors go through and,
Absolutely.
limitations that we have on our superhero, like that's a lot heavy as well. But I have to ask you, what's it like putting on the mask for, what was it like for you putting on that mask?
Man, when you put a mask, it's like fantastic. It's like you transform yourself completely. You're no longer yourself. Now you are a superhero. You know, like it's funny. It's like an immediate effect. You know, like you put the mask and suddenly you are the superhero. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like when you're a kid and you say, "Oh, now I'm the Zorro," or "Now I'm this superhero," and you really, really believe that you have superpowers. I don't know if in your brain it does something like special because you feel like at the same time anonymous because nobody can see your face, but at the same time powerful and famous and strong and with a lot of energy. And I understand after making that movie that the people really believe, the young people believe that they are superheroes because you feel like one. You feel like a superhero.
There's so many magical moments, very standout scenes. One of my favorites is, you're on your knees, standing there on this TV screen, and your dad is seeing, that you're being held hostage. What were some of your favorite scenes to shoot? Ones maybe that you're maybe the most proud of the work you put into?
One of my favorite scenes in the movie is when my father, El Halcón, is sleeping late at night. He was watching TV and he fell asleep. And Pancho enters and he sees his father who's sleeping, and he covers his father with a blanket and turn off the TV and just like approach him, takes care of his father. It's a very, very simple scene. But for me, it was very important that we have that scene, because with that simple scene, we saw all the love that this son has for his father and all the relationship, like because you take care of someone. And for me, that was like a fantastic scene. Of course, there were some very complicated scene, the death scene and all that stuff. It's complicated because we did it on the water, on the sand and everything like that. But a small scene that really touches me is the moment when Pancho takes care of his dad. That was like a beautiful moment for me.
This movie kind of reminds me of the film recently is Cassandro. It's about another luchador with Gael Garcia Bernal. And there is that motherly bond there with his mom in that movie, and he's a luchador as well. But this one is a whole different vibe because it's an action movie.
Yeah,
All,
yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
fun. And it's just incredible the work that all of you put into it. What do you think it is about the luchador community, or maybe even just El Halcón, that's gonna make it such a fast fan favorite movie?
Well, now a funny thing is that the movie has become a little bit like a art movie, and very like a niche. They have the fans, the group, and stuff like that. And this character, Luchador, it's an old wrestler, old luchador. He was not that famous, before the movie, and now little by little people start to talking about him and stuff like that. And I think that that's the beauty of movies, of cinema. Like somehow they can put the light on some people that are really worth it, because at the end, I think that the luchadores vibe, the luchadores history, it's on the Latin background. All Mexican or Latin has grown up with that. A lot of friends go to the lucha libre, or they go with his parents and stuff like that, or they see it on the TV. So it's part of our background, our identity. It's like our values. And I think that for us, it's very important to show this film in the United States, because we can show the values and remember and show to the new generation the history of the luchadores, and try to give them a little bit of Mexico, a little bit of this huge arena and this huge platform that is the lucha libre. It's a huge, huge, huge world, the underground world.
Well, I talked about Cassandra. There's Women in Blue, the TV series. There
Absolutely.
is this film, and now there's Aztec Batman coming out as well. What is it about Mexican cinema or Mexican series that you think is drawing so many people to the culture right now?
Well, I think it's a phenomenon in two areas, I will say. First of all, that I think that Mexico has a very rich tradition and a very rich culture, like the Aztecs, the Mexicas, the Mayas, all the ancient civilization. They are very, very rich and very, very powerful. And also, the luchadores is part of that tradition, part of that culture. And the other thing that is very important is that the Latin community in the United States, it's very, very powerful. And sometimes we don't realize how big they are, like how powerful they are, because it's hard sometimes to make some movies with Latin actors as lead characters, or Latin actors as lead in the movies. They are not well represented. They are not like represented as they should be. And sometimes when there's a movie like this one who shows, my guess is like the Latin community is gonna say, yes, we like that movie. Let's go to the theaters and watch this, and that give all our power to this movie, because it represents us in a way. So for me, I think that the Latin community and the tradition of Mexico is little by little, also with the work of Iñárritu, Cuarón, Del Toro, all these very powerful Mexican directors in Hollywood, they are bringing Mexico on the top of the scene, on the top of Hollywood.
What's next for you? What are the other projects you've been busy working on, Yanis?
I just finished a feature film as a director, also because I'm a writer director too. Yeah. I have a production company. I made it a couple of years ago, and I'm developing my project. I have like a series on a big platform as a executive producer, and I'm writing stuff. But also as an actor, I'm continuing my career. I'm very blessed, and I'm very thankful, and I'm very grateful because I had a very blessed life and career as an actor. And I hope I will continue like that. Well, you never know, but hopefully we'll continue like that.
What would you like to say then to everyone who are fans and supporters of the wonderful work you do on our screens?
What I want to say is that please support the film. Like I think it's a fantastic movie. It's so funny. It's so interesting. And if you like those kind of movies, the moment to go to the theaters and watch it, because that's the way you say to the people, we want those movies in the theater. We want those kind of content. So for us, it's a huge opportunity to be in Hollywood and in United States present the movie, and we made it for the audience. So now is the time for the audience to go to the theaters.